It's 6 in the morning, your alarm goes off. You set it last night with total conviction that you were going to wake up and work out. But right now, in this exact split second, your mind says, no, sleep, and you press snooze. You watch yourself, from some observer position in your consciousness, obey your mind's refusal. David, a 35-year-old software engineer, experienced this every morning. He made conscious decisions about what he wanted to do, and his mind simply overrode him. He obeyed the override every single time. Most people try to fix this with willpower. They treat their impulses as equals, entering into an exhausting peer-to-peer negotiation between their intentions and their laziness. Just 5 more minutes, they falsely promise, hoping their mind will eventually cooperate if they're nice to it. Chronic disobedience follows a specific logic. You are attempting to negotiate with a system that requires a firm command. This strategy creates a feedback loop where the mind learns it can ignore decisions without consequence. This structural inversion explains why the system crashes. In a typical brain, the limbic system generates impulses, and the prefrontal cortex, your logical center, rationalizes obedience to those impulses. The servant becomes the master, creating a flawed hierarchy that prioritizes immediate comfort over chosen goals. 17th century samurai Miyamoto Musashi built a life on correcting this exact hierarchy. In a life-or-death duel, hesitation or fear meant death. He needed absolute control over his mind, allowing zero delay between his decision to act and his body's movement. He developed Kokoto no Shihai, or mastery of the heart-mind. This framework requires you to treat your mind strictly as a separate tool to be trained, rather than an extension of your core identity. The foundational rule is simple. You are the master, and your mind is the servant. Until you structurally demote your mind to that role, your conscious decisions will just remain optional. Every time you accept a mental override, like 5 more minutes in bed, you reinforce a specific neural pathway. As this animation shows, the disobedience circuit pulses and thickens with every successful rebellion, making future resistance even harder. Musashi's strategy of progressive forging reverses this. You start by issuing commands so small that compliance is guaranteed, like sitting still for 5 minutes. Each successful obedience strengthens the master-servant relationship, as shown by the energy shifting to the obedience pathway here. Enforcing these micro-commands builds obedience capacity over time. It teaches the brain that your commands are not negotiable, strengthening the obedience muscle before you ever ask it to tackle a massive, difficult project. You cannot demand a marathon from a mind that hasn't been trained to walk a mile. Self-control grows through these progressive layers of friction. Human decision-making has a specific vulnerability: implementation delay. When there is a gap between deciding to act and actually moving, as shown on this timeline, you enter a decision reopening zone. This is where your brain finds reasons to quit or choose a distracted, easier path. Musashi's protocol of immediate obedience slams this gap shut. By enforcing a rule where action must begin within 3 seconds of a command, you delete the opportunity for your mind to reopen the decision. You can further bypass the brain's effort calculations by cutting off escapes. This means engineering your environment so disobedience becomes the most difficult option. Throwing away junk food or deleting social media apps flips the algorithm. When the effort to rebel is greater than the effort to comply, the brain chooses obedience because it is the path of least resistance. Mental mastery relies on strategic design rather than in-the-moment grit. By pre-engineering your environment and your reaction times, you make failure mechanically difficult. Internal division is the root cause of mental exhaustion. It occurs when 2 competing desires, such as the drive for growth and the pull of comfort, carry equal weight. You find yourself at war with yourself because you haven't decided which side is in charge. Research shows that self-control failures are highly predictable when a person lacks a strict structural hierarchy of values. Without clear rankings, every choice becomes a draining, high-stakes battle. The samurai solution is one mind unified. You establish a non-negotiable hierarchy where specific values, like growth and commitment, always override comfort or convenience. Strictly ranking these values eliminates the rebel faction. The mind obeys naturally because it no longer recognizes comfort as a valid reason to override a command. There are no neutral moments in human cognition. Every second of your life is an active training session. Every impulse, whether it's ignoring a phone notification or starting work immediately, reinforces either mastery or rebellion. You are either training your mind to follow you or training it to ignore you. Consistency matters because the relationship between conscious intention and behavioral execution stabilizes over a 6-month protocol. This period allows for the gradual reinforcement of the neural pathways that link a decision to an action. A chronic lack of control is the logical, mathematical result of decades of unintentional disobedience training. You have spent years teaching your brain that your commands are optional. Living with discipline is often described as high-friction work, but an obedient mind creates a frictionless reality. When the mind is trained, it responds to your will instantly, like a well-trained horse responding to the slightest pressure. Stop negotiating with your own consciousness. Begin the deliberate architectural forging of an obedient system by treating every command as mandatory. Freedom means possessing a tool that responds instantly to your will. When you command and your mind obeys, the struggle ends.